Salutations, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and today I get to review Pete. It is that time of the month again, where I review Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. This month, Chapter 29, Pest Control. Now, this cover is pretty hard. It has Boruto with his karma mark activated that we saw from the last chapter. And we see that he's wearing his part 1 jacket. That's not fitting, but he has his undershirt, long sleeve, button-up shirt underneath it. It's pretty fire. I'm not gonna lie. Let's start. So this chapter opens up with the deal that Boruto is gonna make with Momoshiki, and it starts off running. Momoshiki's like, "You're gonna hand over your body?" And Boruto's like, "Yeah, you're gonna take this body, and I'm gonna basically get your power because I'm gonna need your body to protect. And I know all you want to do is die and have me wither away from this body, but I can give you my body if things shake out, if what I need to do plays out. If we kill Jura, you can have my body. If I save the world, you can have my body." That is the deal. And Momoshiki's a bit skeptical at first because he's like, once Jura's gone, isn't that kid Kawaki gonna come killing me? Do you think I'm that dumb? And Boruto disregards this. He's like, "Are you gonna help me or not? Because we have mutual interest here, and it's to survive." So Momoshiki grants him his blessing and says, "Use the karma and whatever else you want. Now go out there and destroy our foes." So we see that Boruto activates the karma mark and he's fighting Mamushi. He's on the street fighting these in, and Mamushi's talking. He throws a Rasengan, and we see that right off the bat, his attack power is going to be heightened with that karma mark and the boost to all chakra ability. He throws that Rasengan on bro and just obliterates. But his other clones are like, "Yo, we need this man to go because he's starting to clap our booty cheek." He throws shuriken. Boruto starts to throw shuriken in their eyes because that's how you defeat Mamushi. You need to take out his eyes or he's just going to replicate. And he uses shuriken, jumps into the crowd, slices all their heads off on their eyes because you have to be very precise to do this. So we see the swordsmanship that Boruto is demonstrating is pretty top tier. And then we see Boruto use Byakugan as Boruto for the first time ever. We know that in part 1 in the anime that Boruto was able to use some type of Jogan theorized ability, but which is kind of like a Byakugan, but not quite. But we see that since Momoshiki gave him the permission to use all his power, we see him use the Byakugan. Now, he uses the Byakugan immediately to see Mamushi, 3 Mamushi clones across a building on the street. He sees them through a building, and then he throws Uchiha-style shuriken around the block. He makes it ricochet off the shuriken, hit the Mamushi clone in the back of the head directly. Then he uses Flying Rising to teleport to the Mamushi clone because the shuriken is tagged with a Flying Rising tag. So he teleports on him and uses a Rasengan, massive Rasengan, to obliterate his foe. And then the next scene, we see that Inojin is using his new mind transfer jutsu, where he's able to connect and sense all these clones. And he's giving out call out to Shikamaru, to Team 10, to Boruto, and he's notifying that there's clones all across Konoha. So he's like, "Hey, we need you to Sector D South right now." So he's like, "All right, I'm going there ASAP, as fast as I can." Then the next scene, we see that Kawaki is now on the scene. Kawaki got another power boost from these past couple chapters. He basically does the same thing that he's been doing because he despises the ninja way. So he basically goes to Amato and jacks him up, demand that he is given more attack power. And he's like, "Bro, your body's not gonna survive." He's like, "Bro, I don't care." So now we see Kawaki is on the scene. He's floating. He's aura farming on Mamushi. He sends rods inside this dude's face to block the eyes, to destroy the eye. Then he starts scrapping. He starts sparring. So Kawaki's hovering over farming. Aura farming, and he is able to handle these clones with ease. We see that he's very fast now, very strong, able to swipe with his ninja tool arm and knock their heads clean off with ease. And they start sending more clones to him, and they also say the thing, one pest after another, referencing the title of the chapter. He is punching them. He summoned rods to their face, and he summons a rod and he swings his rod knocking heads clean off, runs through people, exploding them, combusting them somehow. It's like he tagged them with like a paper bomb or something. They just explode. And the clones are like, yo, what the heck is going on? They can somehow sense us without our chakra signature. So they start to run. So the next scene, well, before they run, they start to clone more and have them basically infiltrate Leaf Village with more clones. So in the next scene, we jump back to the detective trying to find out why Boruto was able to escape from the custody of the Hidden Leaf Village. And he's asking about the cuffs. He asked Miski about the cuffs. He's like, only a set people know the 4-digit code. How is he able to get out of here with the 4-digit code? It had to have been a select few people, including the Hokage. So Konohamaru he's thinking of this, and he's like, yo, I need to somehow get Miski out of this situation, because he's gonna find out who did what, and that's not gonna be good for the Hidden Leaf Village's plan. And we see that Nishi and Sai finally gets the sensory notice of clones in the village way later than our Kara team did. So it's kind of crazy to see how more efficient Inojine's detective or sensory jutsu was able to pick this up before the sensory unit. And Sai wants to be patched in with the Lord 8th. So Sai is talking to Lord 8th right now, to Konohamaru, and they're basically, Konohamaru acts like he's oblivious to this, and he's like, oh, really, they're there? All right, keep me posted. Send troops and whatnot. And if things escalate, Miski has to be let free from this detective work. Then we see the Team 10 battling the Mamushi clones, or getting ready to. And they're harassing people in the streets. And we go back to the scene with the detectives, and Konohamaru comes in basically trying to tell the detective that no one used the code. It was just not activated. And the detective sees through this with ease. He's like, you're lying, shut up, give me the Hokage, because it might be him. So we see that this detective is getting closer and closer to the truth, and that's not going to be good for the plans of Kara. And we cut back to Team 10 fighting the Mamushi clones. We see that Himawari is blitzing them. She looks like she might have Kurama activated in this. I don't know. Yes, she has the pupils of the horizontal pupil. So she's fighting the clones. She needs help with Team 10. Team 10 uses shadow paralysis. Shikadai uses shadow paralysis, these net paralysis things, to sort of get them all to come toward the team. And he combos this with Chocho's super expansion jutsu and smashes him. And this is the end of the chapter. So this part is my verdict. I think this chapter is honestly really peak. We get to see a lot of action, probably one of the most action-packed chapters into Blue Vortex, and we get a lot of power scaling in this chapter. We see how Boruto's able to fare against Mamushi. We see how powerful Mamushi is, needing whole fleets of people to essentially take him down. It takes a village to take down Mamushi. And it's funny because there was one of my favorite YouTubers, he predicted that Mamushi's probably going to be one of the baddest ones because of how he was able to get Boruto pressed so early into Blue Vortex. But yeah, we see a lot of power scaling. We see Boruto using Byakugan for the first time, which is awesome. Always love the utilization of Byakugan. I always wish they used more Byakugan. We know that in Naruto there was so much Sharingan that I was sick of it. I'm not a big Sharingan guy, or I'm also not a big Uchiha guy. So it was cool to see Byakugan's being utilized because it's such a broken ability. And we see that Boruto is going to have a lot more hacks in his disposal, and it's going to be so fun to watch Boruto fight people just from this chapter. How he was able to use all his tools at his disposal and the capacity that he was able to use them in. And we see that Kawaki is just, he's going to be a boring guy to watch, honestly. He's just going to do crazy stuff, be really fast, and not really be a ninja, more so than just a Dragon Ball Z character. We also get to see Team 10 in action and their utilization of their abilities. We get to see Inojine's ability, how quickly he was able to sense these people, and we were able to see the deal that was made with Momoshiki, which all the death flags for Boruto and whatnot. It's all cool, and we get to see the detective work get closer to the truth. So this is honestly a really good chapter. I give this chapter a 9. We got to see Boruto turn up, use the abilities that I've always wanted to see more of, Flying Raijin, Byakugan. We get to see some cool power scaling. We get to see Mamushi's power, how he's a total wild card, turning the whole village into alert mode and needing the whole village to work together, even though they won't even have that because the village is split. So it might be even harder to fight Mamushi in this case. So yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 for me. It's peak fiction. Now it's time for my final thoughts and predictions. What is my final thoughts about this chapter? My final thoughts are Boruto is the Jogan really gonna be a thing? Was it actually the Byakugan? I think the Jogan is gonna be a thing, maybe something with Boruto and something else, maybe something with Momoshiki siding with Boruto. I don't know. Is all Kawaki gonna do is just get power to his base, just be stronger and faster? Is that all he gonna do? If not, then I'm really not interested in the development of his character. Or maybe if he's fighting someone, he might use, some jutsu at the last second, final ditch effort. Him using jutsu might be Naruto using Kurama at this point, or Boruto using Karma. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does with his palette as far as fighting style. And what's the most intriguing thing about this situation is how will the elders move if it's found that Konohamaru is sided with the Karma or the Kara organization, which I call it Kara. It's Boruto and Kojin's group. I'm still gonna dub them Kara. So what are they gonna do with Kara? That's gonna be interesting to see. I think that if they found out Konohamaru is gonna not be the Hokage anymore, is Sai gonna be the Hokage? Is Sai gonna be what was that other guy who fought in Shippuden? That guy that he was basically the head of the Anbu. I forgot his name, but is that going to be the case? Hiruzen? No, that's the Hokage. Man, I can't think of his name, but yeah, he's not going to be Hokage. And without the power and the influence, what's going to happen with the Kara group? Are they going to just be infighting? Are they going to fight the village? Maybe the village is going to get destroyed, not by Jura, but by the people themselves, by Boruto, the Kara, which is actually the good guys, and the village itself. Maybe that's what happens at the end, and maybe that's how we get the fight with Boruto and Kawaki. I don't know. But yeah, that's going to be very, very intriguing to see how that all plays out and how well this Team 10 lasts with all these Mamushi clones. And at the very last panel, it was shown that Kashin Kojin made some type of face, and it's hinting to something going wrong because he made a remark. He didn't make any remarks. It just had his mouth and it being a ... panel. I'm probably going to put it up right now, but it alludes to the possibility of something horribly going wrong. And we know that Kashin Kojin, he knows that when something goes on, it may be horrible, but it may be needed for the foreseeable future. So we'll see what happens with that. But until then, thank you for listening.